Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Good to be here with all of you, and wanted to connect to you before the end of the year. So touching base with some new updated content. First and foremost, don't forget to hit that like button and to share with everyone that you feel would benefit from this natural and holistic knowledge that we're getting into here today. But what are we touching base on? I actually want to touch base on a topic that it might be uncomfortable for some people, especially sometimes men. And I've been focusing a lot on older health. Of course, in Nature's First Path, we address issues related to all walks of life and people of all ages, but particularly as we start to age, because one, Dr. Scott here talking to you is aging himself, right? So wanted to hit some of those things that are pertinent and that a lot of people can relate to as they start to age. Right, let me crack the window here a little bit. And what is an issue that happens as we start to age? And a lot of it has to do with our urinary health and urinary incontinence. And something that I've used in my practice quite often, and some others have, other healers and naturopathic doctors have as well, is uva ursi, right? Now, uva ursi, also known as bearberry, has a long history of dealing with anything related to that lower energy, right? Particularly the reproductive and urinary lining energy. So initially discovered in Europe and parts of Iceland and colder areas, and later it was found out that it is in Spain and in parts of Norway thousands and thousands of years ago. It's been tried and true to address urinary incontinence and urinary imbalance issues, right? So critical. So how does this work? Well, it actually strengthens the urinary walls, right? And how does it do that? By removing harmful acidity and toxic bacteria that gets inside the urinary walls to get them to loosen up and to allow other sediment and dispurifications to come in and disrupt that urinary lining and energy. So what uva ursi does is comes in, exfoliates those things, gets them out, gets out that toxic sediment, and actually builds up and gets it strengthened over time. And there's been studies that have shown, right, those who take it before bedtime for a month and plus, or a month and some change, have found, right, greater support when it comes to their urinary health. Less frequency of getting up at night to go to the bathroom, less frequency of bedwetting. All right. So when I mentioned earlier, right, that the Nature's First Path practice addresses healings of all types for all ages, actually uva ursi in the right dosage, which is usually cut in half or a third for children, well, it's been shown that children who take uva ursi before bed, right, and anyone really who's been experiencing some bedwetting and some incontinence, whether young or old, right, it's actually been shown to halt that to a degree. Now, the rule is you take any type of herb like this, up to 3 weeks and maybe pause, up maybe 2 or 3 days, 3 weeks again, pause 2 or 3 days to let the body and the energy catch up, and so that it's not reduced in its effect, right? But uva ursi, it doesn't stop there. It also helps men who have been experiencing chronic pain during their urination. And a lot of that pain, again, goes to the urinary walls being inflamed, and sometimes sediment that's coming through out when they're using the restroom, right, coming from the prostate. So what Uva Urshi is able to do is to get in there and to regulate, lower that inflammation, bring that alkaline state in that alkaline balance. And there's been even some connections to Uva Urshi being helpful in some various types of prostate cancers. Okay, and ironically, Uva Urshi is helpful in another area. It's an area that many people might not even think of or be aware of. And one of those is for people who are actually not even dealing with any urinary issue at all. It actually helps people who juice a lot. So on this path of healing and holistic wellness and cleaning up our food system, the things we eat, Nature's First Path has talked about juicing on a regular basis, juicing for health. Well, Uva Urshi also helps counteract that frequent urination, right? Especially during the nighttime and the bedtimes, right? So no matter what your need is, it's good for both women, men, and children. As far as dosage, message me, reach out to me for the appropriate dosage to see if it's relatable to you. And if you're on any medications, right, definitely want to check for those contraindications, that it doesn't contraindicate against anything that you're taking. So wanted to spend some time talking about our urinary health. It's important, and it really becomes even more important as we start to age, right? And making sure we're keeping the sediment out and the urinary walls strong, okay? So it's critical. We'll be having more of these discussions coming up further down the line. Don't forget, visit all the socials. So on Instagram at Nature's First Path, on TikTok at Nature's First Path. You can actually visit the site, of course, naturesfirstpath.com. And you're already here on YouTube, so you know how to find me. But definitely spread this knowledge, spread the information related to holistic health and healing. And of course, don't forget about the live event that we have going on December 23rd, 2023 on Volume 1 of the Canon of Medicine. It is going to be a headbanger, I guarantee you. So you don't want to miss it. Dr. Scott here, Nature's First Path. We'll get it together again. Much love. Take care.